Hey guys, all right, we are going to do something a little bit different, but before we get to that, I wanted to let you guys know that what we just walked through is the video version, if you will, of a booklet that I created called the Blueprint for Balance. The Blueprint for Balance is, boom, it's right there. That's what that is, and it is a paper version, basically, of what we covered. There's a little bit more to it, but the one thing that I like about it is it's designed to be broken up or read in such a way where one side you're reading about what's going on the other side, okay? And so anyway, I will have a link that you can get this if you can get this for free, but there is a shipping cost involved. If you're interested in getting that, just let me know. I'll have a link in the description on how you can get that. But anyway, getting back now to the educational portion of it, we're going to do a little bit something different on this, which is not included in that booklet that we were just talking about. But I wanted to start off by really just sort of recapping everything that we did. Remember, it's all just simple, easy, basic math that we're talking about. And I want to show it to you in a different way. What you're looking at here is the Excel version that drove the booklet that I was telling you about, and all of the other pages that we were looking at in the previous videos. And you know, when we just kind of break it down, here it all is, and it starts. You know, if we break down the assets, we broke it up into the current assets and the non-current assets, and the current liabilities and the non-current liabilities, and then we have equity at the bottom, right? So there's our accounting equation, right? There it is. Sitting just as pretty as can be right there, right? So let's break all that out again, and then we expand it again. Remember what I was talking about? It's an accordion. It just keeps getting bigger as we add more and more detail to it. It's as simple as that. And I think that's the thing that intimidates so many people, is that when it's big and there are a lot of line items to it, it gets scary. And I don't blame you. The thing is, again, I'm going to tell you, we weren't taught this stuff in school. And here it is. But it's just math. It's simple math. Anyway, we drill down a little bit more, and we can see the detail behind the current assets and the current liabilities. And then the non-current assets and the non-current liabilities. And then we've got equity down here at the bottom, okay? Now, let's get to the meat of what I wanted to talk about on this video, and that is financial statement ratios, all right? Now, in the finance world, they don't call it this, but I'm gonna call these balance sheet ratios. And the reason that I'm gonna call them balance sheet ratios is because you don't need numbers on any other financial statements. They all come off of this single financial statement, okay? And within that balance sheet set of ratios, we're gonna break it up into basically two different types of ratios. We're gonna have what are called liquidity ratios and leverage ratios. So I'm gonna break out this other little thing right here. Let's close these. Oops. Yeah, there we go. All right. And I've done none of the math on this stuff, but we're just gonna walk through it really quick. All right. So the current ratio. The current ratio is basically a ratio of your current assets and your current liabilities. Simple. There is the current assets divided by current liabilities, okay? And we end up at 1.5. Now, what does that 1.5 mean? Okay, again, there's that intimidation factor. It doesn't have to be intimidating when you understand what this is really trying to tell you. And another quick little reminder here. Reading financial statements, it's a simple skill. It's a skill like reading and writing. okay? Or driving a car. We all drive cars. We can all read financial statements. You just got to put in a little work to learn how to do it, okay? So there is the calculation for the current ratio. And it's all the current assets divided by all the current liabilities, okay? So that's one of my favorite ratios to look at, but the one I like even more is more conservative, and it is called the cash ratio. So let's do the cash ratio. The cash ratio is basically cash divided by the exact same number in current liabilities, okay? And let's make these a little bit prettier. Okay, there we go. So we've got 2 decimals there. All right. So the current ratio, the first one, basically says that we've got 1.5 times the amount that we do in current liabilities. If we were to liquidate all of our current assets, we could pay off all of our liabilities and still have 50% of it left over. In other words, $15,000. Okay. Now, with the current ratio, this is a more conservative description, and I'm going to tell you why. We're throwing out accounts receivable, we're throwing out inventory, and the reason that we're doing that is, well, one, there's no surefire way that we are 100% certain that we are collecting on all of that accounts receivable. And in order to get rid of the inventory, we've got to sell all that inventory, and we're just going to assume that we're not selling the inventory. So we're not selling the inventory, and we're assuming that we are not going to be able to sell all the inventory, and we are assuming that we are not going to be able to collect on all of our accounts receivable. So it's just a more conservative number, okay? And then let's expand this, because here's the thing. When it comes to balance sheets and the ratios, the trend is your friend, okay? So that's what I want to talk about next is the trend, okay? So when we make the same calculations, we see a different set of numbers. And this time we're comparing that for July on both of those, okay? So here's what I'm going to say on this is that we've improved our financial position here because our August numbers are bigger than our July numbers. So we're seeing some improvement there, all right? And that improvement is here. Okay? So we improved our ratio by 0.17, our current ratio by 0.17, and our cash ratio by 0.15. So life got just a little bit easier on that, okay? We're gonna wrap it up there. I had originally planned on covering all of these ratios with you, the debt to assets, equity to assets, and debt to equity, but I'm gonna leave that for the next video. If you have questions or comments, leave them below, and don't forget to like and follow our page. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you in the next video.